You followed the rules, paid your fees, and contributed to this country. The final goals on that journey: indefinite leave to remain, or ILR, and for many the ultimate prize, a British passport. But what if I told you that in 2025 the goalposts are shifting? What if the path you thought you were on is changing with new, unexpected hurdles? And what if even after you've reached the pinnacle and become a British citizen, that status isn't as permanent as you believe? It's a shocking thought, but it's the reality we need to talk about today. The UK's immigration landscape is undergoing some of its most significant changes in years. For some, this means the dream of ILR and British citizenship might be slipping away. Worse yet, some who already hold that precious passport could find themselves at risk of losing it. Welcome to our in-depth look at the major immigration shifts of 2025. Stay with me because the information in this video is crucial for anyone on a UK visa, applying for settlement, or who is already a naturalized citizen. Let's start with indefinite leave to remain, or ILR. For years, the magic number has been 5. Most people on work or family visas knew that after 5 years of continuous residence, they could apply for permanent settlement. It was a clear, predictable timeline. However, a government white paper published in May 2025 has laid out plans for a radical shake-up. The proposal is to increase the standard qualifying period for ILR 5 years to a staggering 10 years for many visa holders. Let that sink in. A full decade. That means double the time living with the restrictions of a visa, double the time needing a sponsor for many, and double the time before you can truly call the UK your permanent home. The government's stated intention is to make settlement a more earned privilege based on a longer-term contribution to the UK's economy and society. So, who is affected? This new 10-year default is proposed to apply to most work-based migration routes. There are some crucial exceptions. Government has indicated that partners of British citizens on family visas will likely continue to qualify for settlement after 5 years, as will victims of domestic abuse. People with rights under the EU settlement scheme are also protected by the 5-year rule under the UK-EU withdrawal agreement, but for many others, the path just got a lot longer. And it's not just about waiting. A longer qualifying period means more time for things to go wrong. The reasons for ILR refusal remain as strict as ever. Common pitfalls include excessive absences. You cannot spend more than 180 days outside the UK in any 12-month period. Over a 10-year route, that requires meticulous planning and tracking of every single trip. Tax discrepancies. The Home Office and HMRC share data. Any inconsistencies between the income declared on your visa applications and your tax records can be seen as deception and lead to a refusal. Application errors. A simple mistake on a form, missing a document, or using the wrong form can result in a flat-out refusal. Criminality. Any criminal conviction, even seemingly minor ones, must be declared. Depending on the sentence, it can lead to an automatic refusal. Immigration history. Overstaying a previous visa or any breach of immigration rules, even from years ago, can haunt your application. The message is clear. The journey to ILR is set to become a marathon, not a sprint. Every step of that 10-year journey will be under scrutiny. Now, let's talk about the final step, British citizenship. For those who secure ILR, citizenship is the culmination of their journey. But here, too, a major change in 2025 is set to block the path for a significant group of people. The key lies in the good character requirement. On February 10, 2025, the Home Office updated its guidance with a rule that is both controversial and far-reaching. The new guidance states that anyone who applies for citizenship from that date who has ever entered the UK illegally will normally be refused. This includes arriving without the required entry clearance or making what the Home Office defines as a dangerous journey, such as crossing the channel in a small boat. What's truly seismic about this change is that it removes the previous 10-year rule. Before this, an illegal entry that occurred more than 10 years ago would often be disregarded. Now, it doesn't matter how long ago it happened. It could be 15 or 20 years. It doesn't matter if you have since been granted refugee status, built a life, and been a model resident. The very method of your arrival decades earlier could now be used to deny you citizenship. This will disproportionately affect refugees and asylum seekers, many of whom had no choice but to use irregular routes to find safety. This is the part of the video that might be the most shocking. You've done it. You've navigated the visa system. You've passed the life in the UK test. You've pledged your allegiance. You hold a British passport. Surely that can't be taken away. Wrong. It can, and you need to know how. The power to strip someone of their citizenship is known as deprivation, and it's enshrined in Section 40 of the British Nationality Act, 1981. It happens for two primary reasons. First, fraud, false representation, or concealment of a material fact. This is the most common reason. If it's discovered that you lied or hid crucial information during your citizenship, or even any previous immigration application, your citizenship can be revoked. Second, if it is conducive to the public good. This is a much broader and more serious category. The Home Secretary can revoke your citizenship if they believe it is in the public interest to do so. This is typically used in cases involving national security, such as terrorism, espionage, or serious and organized crime. A critical question arises: can the UK government make you stateless? Under both British and international law, the government generally cannot deprive you of your only citizenship. However, the Nationality and Borders Act 2022 created more aggressive powers for naturalized citizens. The government can now proceed with deprivation, even if it makes you stateless, provided your actions have been seriously prejudicial to the UK's vital interests. Furthermore, the Act also introduced the power for the Home Office to revoke citizenship without giving you prior notice in certain situations, for example, if it's deemed necessary for national security. Between 2010 and 2023, over 1,000 people were stripped of their citizenship for these reasons. It is not a hypothetical threat. It is a real power that is actively being used. The landscape of UK immigration is clearly getting tougher. The path to settlement is potentially becoming twice as long, and the criteria for citizenship have been narrowed. The very permanence of citizenship itself has been shown to be conditional. So what can you do? First, be meticulous. Every application you submit, every piece of information you provide must be flawless. Double-check your dates, documents, and declarations. In this new environment, there is no room for error. Second, be honest. The good character test places immense value on transparency. Attempting to deceive the Home Office is one of the surest ways to not only get refused, but to potentially face a ban and have any future status revoked. Third, understand your history. In light of the new rules, be aware of how every part of your immigration journey, including your initial entry to the UK, could be assessed years down the line. Fourth, seek professional advice. The rules are complex and constantly changing. Navigating them alone is a huge gamble. Getting expert legal advice is not a luxury, it's an essential investment in your future. The dream of a life in the UK is still alive, but the journey requires more diligence, more patience, and more awareness than ever before. Don't get caught out by these new rules. Stay informed, be prepared, and protect your future. Thank you for watching. If you found this information valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who need to hear it. And please share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Let's navigate these changes together.